I am Jarvis, your storyteller. Welcome to the science fiction exploration. If you like the story, please subscribe to our channel. The UES Endeavour cruised through the inky void of unexplored space, its powerful sensors probing the stars for signs of life and civilizations unknown. Captain Nadia Solikov stood on the bridge, her keen eyes studying the holographic displays with intense focus. She and her crew of intrepid explorers had ventured farther than any humans before them, driven by an insatiable curiosity about the cosmos and their place within it. "Captain, I'm detecting an anomaly on the long-range scanners," reported Lieutenant Karan Patel, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It appears to be an energy signature, but not one in any of our databases." Nadia raised an eyebrow, intrigued. An unknown energy source in this uncharted system. "Yes, Captain, and there's more." Curran brought up a detailed scan of the planet, a swirling marble of greens and blues. "I'm detecting structures on the surface, artificial structures." A ripple of excitement passed through the bridge. The chance to study an alien civilization was a dream come true for the Endeavour's crew of scientists and explorers. "Helm, set a course for the planet," Nadia ordered, a smile playing at her lips. "Let's go take a look." As the ship descended through the atmosphere, the crew marveled at the lush, vibrant landscape that stretched out beneath them. Towering alien trees with iridescent leaves swayed in the gentle breeze, while crystalline spires glittered under the twin suns. But amidst the natural beauty, something else caught their attention: the unmistakable geometry of ruins. The landing party, led by Nadia herself, set out to investigate the ancient structures. Joined by Chief Engineer Mikhail Fedorov, xenoanthropologist Dr. Lena Nakamura, and Security Officer Sergeant Tanya Ivanova, they approached the ruins with a mix of caution and wonder. "These structures are incredible," breathed Dr. Nakamura, running her gloved hand over the smooth, alien metal. "The level of preservation, it's like they were abandoned only yesterday." Sergeant Ivanova scanned the surroundings warily, her plasma rifle at the ready. "Any idea what happened to the locals, Doc?" "No signs of battle damage or natural disasters," observed Mikhail, his eyes tracing the graceful curves of the architecture. "It's as if they just vanished." As they ventured deeper into the ruins, a sense of unease began to settle over the team. The structures were too perfect, too untouched by time. It was as if something had been maintaining them, keeping them pristine for countless millennia. Nadia stopped short as they entered a vast, circular chamber. In the center, a towering pillar of shimmering energy pulsed and danced, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Arranged around it were countless pedestals, each one bearing a softly glowing sphere. "By the stars," whispered Dr. Nakamura, her eyes wide with disbelief. "It's an archive, a repository of knowledge." Mikhail approached one of the spheres, his scanner whirring. "Captain, these contain an incredible amount of data, exabytes at least, and the energy readings," he shook his head in amazement, "like nothing I've ever seen." Nadia felt a thrill of excitement mixed with trepidation. They were standing on the precipice of a monumental discovery, one that could change the course of human history. But something about the archive felt wrong, as if they were trespassing in a place they didn't belong. Suddenly, a deep, resonant hum filled the chamber. The energy pillar pulsed faster, brighter, its light becoming almost blinding. Sergeant Ivanova raised her rifle, shouting a warning, but it was too late. A shimmering portal burst into existence, and through it stepped a group of tall, slender beings encased in sleek, silver armor. Their faces were hidden behind featureless masks, but their body language radiated a cold, implacable purpose. "Step away from the archive," one of the aliens commanded, its voice a melodic yet menacing tone. "You have no idea what you've stumbled upon." Nadia straightened her spine, meeting the alien's inscrutable gaze with a defiant one of her own. "I am Captain Nadia Solikov of the UES Endeavour. We are peaceful explorers, seekers of knowledge. We mean no harm." The alien tilted its head, considering her words. "Your intentions are irrelevant. This archive is not for your kind. It contains the histories of 1,000 civilizations, stolen and hoarded by our people. And now we have come to claim your history as well." Nadia's blood ran cold at the implications. The archive was not a benevolent repository, but a trophy room of plundered knowledge, and Earth, it seemed, was next on the list. She exchanged a tense glance with her team, each one ready to fight to protect their world's heritage. The aliens may have had superior technology, but they had clearly underestimated the tenacity and resourcefulness of the human spirit. As the standoff intensified, Nadia's mind raced, searching for a way to turn the tables on their enigmatic foes. They had come seeking knowledge, but now they found themselves in a desperate struggle to safeguard their own history from oblivion. The confrontation with the alien archivists was only the beginning. The crew of the Endeavor would soon find themselves embroiled in a dangerous game of cat and mouse, pitting human ingenuity against alien arrogance in a battle for the ages. Their story and the fate of Earth's history had just begun. The air on the alien ship was cold and sterile, a stark contrast to the vibrant warmth of the archive planet. Captain Nadia Solikov and her team moved silently through the dimly lit corridors, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. They had infiltrated the vessel using a daring combination of hacking, sabotage, and good old-fashioned human ingenuity. "Mikkel, what's our status?" Nadia whispered into her comm, her eyes scanning the hallway for any sign of the alien crew. "I've managed to tap into their network," the chief engineer replied, his fingers flying over a holographic interface. "The archive database should be just ahead in the central data core." Dr. Lena Nakamura, the team's xenoanthropologist, couldn't help but marvel at the sleek, organic curves of the ship's interior. Their technology is so advanced, so seamless. It's like the ship is alive. Sergeant Tanya Ivanova, ever the pragmatist, kept her plasma rifle at the ready. "Let's hope it doesn't decide to spit us out like a bad meal." As they approached the data core, the corridor began to pulse with an eerie, bluish light. The team exchanged uneasy glances, sensing that they were on the verge of something momentous. The door to the core slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a cavernous chamber filled with shimmering, crystalline data spires. The air hummed with energy, and the team could feel the weight of countless civilizations' knowledge pressing down on them. "There," Mikkel breathed, pointing to the largest spire at the center of the room. "That's where they're keeping the human history." Nadia nodded, steeling herself for what came next. "All right, let's do this. Mikkel, start the download. Tanya, watch our backs. Lena, see if you can find any information on why they're doing this." As the team set to work, the tension in the air was palpable. Mikkel's brow furrowed in concentration as he coaxed the alien systems to relinquish their stolen knowledge, while Dr. Nakamura pored over the archive's vast index, her eyes widening with each new revelation. Suddenly an alarm blared through the ship, its wailing cry a harbinger of impending doom. "They know we're here," Sergeant Ivanova shouted, her rifle whining as she primed its charge. Nadia cursed under her breath. They'd hoped to complete the heist undetected, but it seemed their luck had run out. "Mikhail, tell me you got the data." The engineer held up a glowing, palm-sized device, a triumphant grin on his face. "Every last byte, the history of Earth safe and sound." But their victory was short-lived. The door to the data core exploded inward, revealing a squad of heavily armed alien soldiers. Their leader, a tall, imposing figure in midnight black armor, leveled a wicked-looking weapon at the team. "You have stolen from us," the alien intoned, its voice dripping with cold menace. "A grave mistake." Nadia stepped forward, her chin held high. "You stole from us first. We're simply taking back what's rightfully ours." The alien tilted its head, as if considering her words. "You do not understand the greater purpose at work here. The archive must be preserved, and your primitive species cannot be trusted with its own history." Dr. Nakamura spoke up, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and anger. "We found the records of what you've done. You've been manipulating and erasing the histories of countless civilizations. What gives you the right?" The alien leader regarded her coldly. "The right of the strong, the advanced, the enlightened. Your kind will never rise to our level, and so we must curate your history for your own good." Sergeant Ivanova scoffed. "Pretty words for a bunch of self-righteous thieves." Nadia held up a hand, silencing her team. "We're done talking. You want our history? Come and take it." With a roar of defiance, the humans launched themselves at the aliens, plasma fire filling the air. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they fought with a savage determination, fueled by the knowledge that they were fighting not just for themselves, but for the very soul of their species. Mikkel ducked and weaved, his engineering brilliance put to deadly use as he turned the ship's own systems against its crew. Dr. Nakamura used her knowledge of alien psychology to anticipate their moves, while Sergeant Ivanova laid down a blistering barrage of covering fire. And at the center of it all was Nadia, a whirlwind of tactical genius and indomitable will. She rallied her team, led them through the chaos, and when the moment came, she made the call that would change everything. "Mikkel, overload the data spires," she shouted over the din of battle. "We can't let them keep this knowledge, even if it means destroying it." The engineer hesitated for only a moment before nodding grimly. With a few deft keystrokes, he sent a cascading surge of energy through the crystalline spires, causing them to shudder and crack. The aliens, realizing what was happening, let out a collective cry of horror. They redoubled their efforts to stop the humans, but it was too late. With a blinding flash and a deafening roar, the data spires exploded, showering the chamber with shards of shattered history. In the chaos, Nadia and her team made their escape, fighting their way back to their own ship with the precious device containing Earth's history clutched tightly in Mikkel's hand. As they blasted away from the alien vessel, the weight of what they had done began to sink in. They had struck a blow against the alien archivists, but at what cost? The knowledge of countless civilizations lost forever. But as the UES Endeavour raced towards home, Nadia knew that their fight was far from over. The aliens would pursue, furious and vengeful, and the humans would need every ounce of their ingenuity and courage to stay one step ahead. The chase was on, and the fate of Earth's history hung in the balance. The UES Endeavour hurtled through the void, its engines straining as it pushed itself to the very limits of its capabilities. On the bridge, Captain Nadia Solikov gripped the armrests of her command chair, her knuckles white with tension. They had escaped the alien ship with Earth's stolen history, but she knew their reprieve would be short-lived. "Captain, we've got company," Sergeant Tanya Ivanova called out from her tactical station. "Multiple contacts closing fast." Nadia's jaw clenched. The alien archivists had wasted no time in pursuing them, and now the Endeavour found itself in a desperate race for survival. Evasive maneuvers now. The ship jinked and wove, narrowly avoiding the searing lances of energy that slashed through the void. The aliens were relentless, their sleek, predatory vessels hounding the Endeavour like a pack of hungry wolves. "We can't outrun them forever," Chief Engineer Mikhail Fedorov warned, his face bathed in the red glow of warning lights. "Our engines are already redlining." Nadia nodded grimly. They needed a plan, and fast. Her eyes fell on the holographic display of the surrounding space, and a sudden flash of inspiration struck her. "There," she said, pointing to a dense field of asteroids. "We'll lose them in the rocks." Dr. Lena Nakamura, the ship's xenoanthropologist, looked doubtful. "Captain, navigating an asteroid field at these speeds, it's suicide." But Nadia was resolute. "It's our only chance. Mikhail, divert all power to the shields and thrusters. Tanya, I need you on point defense. Keep those alien bastards off our tail." As the crew scrambled to carry out her orders, the Endeavour plunged into the swirling maelstrom of rock and dust. Asteroids smashed against the ship's shields, making the deck shudder and groan beneath their feet. The aliens pursued, their ships more agile and maneuverable than the bulky human vessel. Nadia gritted her teeth as she wrenched the Endeavour into a dizzying spiral, threading the needle between two massive, tumbling boulders. The alien ships followed, their weapons carving molten scars into the rocks around them. "Hard to port," she shouted, wrenching the controls. The Endeavour slewed to the side, barely avoiding a searing beam of energy that vaporized a nearby asteroid. "Captain, we can't take much more of this," Mikkel warned, his face streaked with sweat and grime. Nadia's mind raced, searching for a solution. Suddenly her eyes widened with a flash of inspiration. Tanya, do we still have those mining charges from our last resupply? The sergeant nodded, a savage grin spreading across her face as she realized what her captain was planning. Aye, ma'am, enough to crack a small moon. Perfect. Mikkel, rig them up with proximity detonators and dump them out the airlock. Let's see how our friends handle a little impromptu asteroid mining. The engineer set to work, his hands a blur as he modified the charges. Moments later, a stream of glittering, makeshift mines tumbled out of the Endeavor's airlock, drifting into the path of the pursuing alien ships. The effect was immediate and devastating. The lead alien vessel, too focused on its prey to notice the trap, plowed straight into a drifting charge. The resulting explosion tore the ship apart, sending shards of twisted metal pinwheeling through the void. The other aliens, realizing the danger, tried to evade, but it was too late. A chain reaction of detonations ripped through the asteroid field, turning the once orderly pursuit into a chaotic maelstrom of fire and shrapnel. Seizing the opportunity, Nadia gunned the engines, sending the Endeavor rocketing out of the field and into clear space. The surviving alien ships, their numbers thinned and their formation shattered, could only watch as their quarry slipped away. But even as the crew of the Endeavor celebrated their narrow escape, a new problem presented itself. "Captain, I'm picking up a distress signal," Dr. Nakamura reported, her brow furrowed. "It's coming from a nearby system and it's human." Nadia felt a chill run down her spine. A human signal out here in the uncharted depths of space. It could only mean one thing, a secret outpost hidden from prying eyes. And if the Endeavor had picked up the signal, then the aliens surely had as well. "Set a course," she ordered, her voice grim. "If there are humans out here, they're in danger. We have to warn them." As the ship raced towards the source of the signal, Nadia couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into even greater peril. The aliens had proven themselves ruthless and determined, and they would stop at nothing to reclaim the stolen archive. But the crew of the Endeavor had a duty, not just to Earth, but to all of humanity. They would stand against the alien threat, no matter the cost. And as the ship plunged into the unknown, each member of the crew steeled themselves for the battles to come. The chase had led them to an unexpected ally, but the true test of their resolve was yet to come. In the face of an implacable foe, the humans would need every ounce of their ingenuity, courage, and determination to unravel the secrets of the archive and save their species from oblivion. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through the ages, a defining moment in the history of two civilizations. And at the heart of it all, a small crew of intrepid explorers fighting for the very soul of humanity. The hidden human outpost was a marvel of ingenuity and secrecy, a testament to the tenacity and resourcefulness of the species. Nestled within the heart of a hollowed-out asteroid, the facility was a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, all humming with the purposeful activity of a people preparing for war. As Captain Nadia Solikov and her team disembarked from the Endeavor, they were greeted by a grim-faced welcoming committee led by Commander Elena Volkova, the outpost's stern and uncompromising leader. "Captain Solikov," Volkova nodded, her voice tight with tension. "I wish we were meeting under better circumstances, but the situation is dire. Come, there is much to discuss." As they walked through the outpost's winding corridors, Nadia couldn't help but marvel at the sheer scale of the operation. Everywhere she looked, she saw humans hard at work, studying alien technology, training in advanced combat techniques, and strategizing for the battles to come. In the outpost's central command center, Volkova brought up a holographic display of the stolen alien archive. "Our analysts have been working around the clock to decipher the data you brought back. What they've found is disturbing, to say the least." Dr. Lena Nakamura, the Endeavor's xenoanthropologist, leaned in, her eyes widening as she scanned the translated files. "My God, they've been doing this for centuries, manipulating the histories of countless species, erasing any trace of resistance or defiance." Sergeant Tanya Ivanova slammed her fist against the table, her face twisted with anger. "They're not just thieves, they're genocidal maniacs, wiping out entire civilizations and replacing them with their own twisted versions of history." Commander Volkova nodded grimly. "And now they've set their sights on Earth. They see us as a threat, a species with the potential to challenge their dominance. They'll stop at nothing to erase us from the cosmic record." Nadia felt a cold fury rising within her. The alien archivists had crossed a line, and now it was up to humanity to hold them accountable. We have to stop them. We have to expose their crimes to the rest of the galaxy. Mikhail Fedorov, the Endeavor's chief engineer, spoke up, his voice hesitant but determined. I might have an idea about that. The alien technology we've been studying. I think I can use it to boost our communication array. We could broadcast the truth to every corner of the known universe. Volkova's eyes lit up with a fierce, determined hope. A galaxy-wide transmission revealing the archivist's atrocities. It's a bold plan, but it just might work. We'll need time to prepare, though. And we'll need to keep the aliens off our backs long enough to make it happen. Nadia nodded, her resolve hardening into an unbreakable diamond. Leave that to us. The Endeavor and her crew will hold the line. We'll buy you the time you need, no matter the cost. As the meeting adjourned, and the humans set to work on their desperate plan, Nadia couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the precipice of history. The revelation of the archivist's crimes would change the galaxy forever, and the role of humanity in that change was still uncertain. But one thing was crystal clear. They would not go quietly into the night. They would not let their history be erased, their accomplishments wiped away by the machinations of a ruthless, arrogant foe. They were human and they would fight, for their past, for their present, and for the future they had yet to write. As the Endeavor prepared to launch once more, to draw the aliens' attention away from the hidden outpost, Nadia looked out at her crew, at the determined faces of the men and women who had followed her to the very edge of the abyss. This is it, she said, her voice ringing with a fierce, unyielding pride. This is our moment, our chance to make a stand to show the galaxy what humanity is made of. We may be outgunned and outmatched, but we will never be outfought. We will never surrender. We are human and we will prevail. And with those words, the Endeavor blasted off into the void once more, ready to face the fury of the alien archivists head-on. The final battle was about to begin, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. But as long as there were those willing to stand up and fight for what was right, there was still hope. Hope for a future where the truth could not be erased, where the achievements of all species were celebrated and remembered. A future worth fighting for. The alien fleet descended upon the hidden human outpost like a swarm of angry hornets, their ships bristling with weapons and thrumming with malevolent energy. They had come to reclaim their stolen archive and to erase the upstart humans who had dared to defy them. But the humans were ready. As the alien ships opened fire, the outpost's defenses roared to life. Plasma cannons and missile batteries erupted from concealed emplacements, filling the void with a blistering barrage of retaliatory fire. The aliens pressed their attack, undeterred by the fierce resistance, their superior technology allowing them to shrug off the humans' desperate onslaught. Inside the outpost, Commander Elena Volkova stood at the heart of the storm, her face a mask of grim determination as she coordinated the defense. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the chaos like a knife. "Shields are holding, but they won't last forever," one of the technicians replied, his fingers flying over the control panel. "We're giving them everything we've got, but they just keep coming." Volkova nodded, her eyes never leaving the holographic display of the battle raging outside. "What about the broadcast? Is it ready?" Mikhail Fedorov, the chief engineer of the Endeavor, looked up from his workstation, his face streaked with sweat and grime. "Almost. We just need a little more time." But time was a luxury they didn't have. The alien ships were closing in, their weapons tearing through the outpost's defenses with ever-increasing ferocity. The humans fought back with everything they had, but it was a losing battle. And then, just when all seemed lost, a miracle happened. The UES Endeavor, battered and bruised but still unbroken, burst from the depths of the asteroid field like an avenging angel. Its weapons blazing, it plunged into the heart of the alien fleet, drawing their fire away from the beleaguered outpost. On the bridge of the Endeavor, Captain Nadia Solikov gripped the arms of her command chair, her eyes blazing with a fierce, unyielding determination. "All right, you bastards," she growled. "You want a fight, we'll give you a fight." And fight they did. The Endeavor danced and weaved through the alien formation, its crew working as one to outmaneuver and outgun their technologically superior foes. Sergeant Tanya Ivanova manned the weapons, her fingers moving with blinding speed as she picked off alien ships one by one. Dr. Lena Nakamura used her knowledge of alien psychology to anticipate their moves, calling out evasive patterns and weak points in their defenses. But even the valiant efforts of the Endeavor couldn't hold back the alien tide forever. One by one, the human ships fell, until only the Endeavor and a handful of battered defenders remained. In the heart of the outpost, Mikhail Fedorov watched the battle unfold with a growing sense of desperation. They were out of time. If they didn't act now, all would be lost. With a final, decisive keystroke, he initiated the broadcast. The alien technology they had reverse-engineered hummed to life, amplifying the signal to a deafening roar. And then, with a blinding flash of light, the truth was unleashed. Across the galaxy, on 1,000 worlds, the archivists' lies were laid bare. The histories they had stolen, the civilizations they had erased, all of it was revealed in stark, unforgiving detail. The galaxy watched in horror as the true extent of the archivists' crimes was exposed, and one by one, the voices of the oppressed and forgotten rose up in a chorus of righteous anger. On the bridge of the alien flagship, the archivists' leader stared at the viewscreen in disbelief, watching as their carefully crafted web of deceit unraveled before their eyes. "No," they whispered, their voice trembling with a mixture of rage and fear. "This cannot be happening." But it was happening. The age of the archivists was over, and a new era was dawning. An era in which the histories of all species would be remembered and celebrated, not erased and rewritten to suit the whims of a self-appointed elite. In the end, it was not superior technology or firepower that won the day, but the indomitable will of the human spirit. The courage to stand up for what was right, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The determination to fight for a future in which all species could live in harmony, their pasts preserved and their futures bright. As the last of the alien ships fled into the depths of space, the humans emerged from their battered outpost to survey the aftermath of the battle. They had suffered great losses, but they had also achieved a victory that would echo throughout the ages. Captain Nadia Solikov and her crew stood at the forefront of the celebration, their faces alight with a fierce, triumphant joy. They had done the impossible, and in doing so, they had proven the true strength of humanity. Not just to the galaxy, but to themselves. And as the stars looked down upon the battered but unbroken heroes, a sense of hope and possibility filled the air. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity would face it head-on, with courage, determination, and an unshakable belief in the power of truth and unity. The reckoning had come, and humanity had emerged victorious. And though the road ahead would be long and hard, they would walk it together, guided by the light of their shared history and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. For they were human, and they would never surrender.